This is the 698-foot self-unloading motor vessel Michipecoten, passing the Sioux downbound in August of 2022. It was a much happier time than the boat and her crew are experiencing as of the making of this presentation. On Saturday, June 8th, 2024, at about 7 o'clock in the morning, the vessel was downbound on Lake Superior with a cargo of taconite. She was about 35 miles southwest of Isle Royale when a loud bang was heard. Shortly thereafter, the boat took on a list that later would go as far as 15 degrees. The vessel's pumps took over, and a mayday was broadcast. Responding was the nearby 1,000-footer Edwin H. Gott. The vessel's pumps would later correct the list to just 5 degrees. The first report stated that the Michipecoten had struck a submerged object. Although the media ran with that for a few days, my BS flag immediately popped up. Here's why. This is Isle Royale. This was Michipecoten's route of travel. This is the area 35 miles southwest. Note the depth sounding. 108 fathoms, which equates to 648 feet. In other words, there is nothing out there to hit. To any boat nerd, that means just one thing. This was a hull fracture. When the Coast Guard and National Park Service boats arrived, 11 of the oarboat's crew wanted to be removed immediately. Although the boat's pumps had reduced the list to just 5 degrees, they still wanted off. The listing oarboat then headed for the nearest safe port, Thunder Bay. After the Michipecoten safely arrived at Thunder Bay, and divers were able to take a look at her hull, they found a 13-foot long, 1/4 inch wide crack. The stress fracture propagated from the turn of her bilge to her bottom plating. Before we talk about what was done after the discovery of that crack, let's look at the boat's history a bit. What we now know as the Michipecoten was constructed in 1952 at Sparrows Point, Maryland, near Baltimore. She was launched as the 626-footer Elton Hoyt II. After her launching, the vessel's superstructures were placed on her spar deck in pieces. She was then towed up the Mississippi and Illinois rivers through to Chicago and Lake Michigan. Her final fit-out was done at the American Shipbuilding South Chicago shipyard. She later entered service for the Interlake Steamship Company. By 1956, she was deemed too small to compete with the new Seaway-class lake boats, so she was lengthened by 72 feet. In 1980, the boat was converted to a self-unloader. The collapse of the steel industry and the auto industry in the 1980s saw the Hoyt unable to earn her way. Thus, from January 9, 1991 to April 16, 1993, she was laid up at Superior, Wisconsin. However, she sailed briefly in the late 1990s. Yet the Hoyt was laid up for the final time by Interlake Steamship on January 11, 2001, at the Fraser Shipyards in Superior, Wisconsin. Many of us feared that the sun had set on this proud Laker's career. But she was sold in April 2003 to the Canadian shipping firm Lower Lakes Towing. She was renamed and repainted as Michipecoten. One thing that a lot of you may not know is that this lake boat has cracked her hull in the past. On December 22nd, 1983, she was downbound on Lake Huron in a late-season storm as the Elton Hoyt II. She entered Port Huron only to discover a crack across her spar deck. The vessel was towed to the shipyard, repaired, and went on to finish the season. As of the making of this video, the plan is to unload her into a company vessel, tow her to Duluth Superior for dry docking and possible repairs, and definitely an inspection. A temporary patch was attached to her hull by divers at Thunder Bay. That should keep her afloat during the tow. On June 14th, 2024, her fleetmate, the Manitoulin, arrived at Thunder Bay to have the Michipecoten's taconite cargo transferred into her. The tow date has yet to be released. While in dry dock, the decision as to her future will probably be made. So the question remains, as of this video's making, what's next for the Michipecoten? Only time will tell.